Hi ladies, welcome to day 4. I'm hoping you are still with it and still have the energy to continue. We're gonna kick off today and for the next 2 days to follow the topic of nutrition. Now, this presentation will be about 10 minutes, but I think it's really important that you take the time to listen to that and take in some of the information. I will also post it later in comments so that you can review it again if needed. Before we go into the detail about all the calories and how much you should be consuming and what's important and so on, I'd like to just explain the basics a little bit. And why is it important for me, the basics? Because there's so much information on the internet nowadays, a lot of different diets, proposals, a lot of kind of confusing information as well. So people are not really sure, okay, what is the important thing for me here and how should I go about it and am I doing it right or not? And there is just one simple way to understand it, and I'd like you to know about it and then make a decision of if you want to adjust the way you're eating or not. So let's kick off with that. So understanding the nutrition, so nutritional basics. So when we talk about the diet, a lot of people say I'm going on a diet, and what they mean by that is usually I'm gonna from tomorrow follow a certain plan, I'm gonna cut out a lot of foods out of my diet, and I am going just to eat what this plan tells me and everything will be fine. And usually after the plan is finished, they go back to the normal eating habits that they had before, and they gain weight, or they're unhappy again how they eaten. And it's really because usually people say I am going on a diet is a certain restrictive way of eating, and really what diet should be is talking about the diet is really just diet means the total sum of all the food we routinely consume. Sorry, my tongue is not moving today. So really, you should not be talking, I am going on a diet. Diet is the way you eat as of today. And you might have a balanced diet, which is great, which we're gonna also talk about it a bit more. Or you have an unbalanced diet. You have a diet high of saturated fats or sugar, or you have a restricted diet because of certain health conditions. So these are different types of diets, but it's just the way you are eating. So we need to really get this out of our mindset of saying I am going on a diet. Is really slowly changing your eating habits towards having a healthier perspective of what you eat and how it's beneficial to you, and not thinking about more of having a certain regime that you need to follow, and that's the only way to achieve your weight goals. Then the next point is the myth of all calories are equal, or any fuel is good fuel. So we're gonna go and look at it in more detail, but what it really means is that whatever energy you get from certain foods are measured in calories. It's just a measurement, a unit. And you can consume certain cakes and certain foods that might be having the same energy level as any other foods, but they're not giving you what you need. They don't give you the nutritional value that you need and the vitamins, which are so important. So it is not the same of what you're consuming, what you get out of it, even if you will stick to the certain amount of calories that you had consumed. And then also what is really important is, and what we are focusing here, is to how to optimize your nutrition. So if you want to perform athletically, or if you want to feel happy and healthy and energetic in your body, you need to optimize the way you eat. And this is by introducing certain habits and having that understanding what is a better and healthier for your body, to be able to achieve that. So obviously what we're looking for is the balanced diet. And the balanced diet, according to a lot of studies, is really that you should be consuming at least 50% of your daily intake, the carbohydrates. And we will go in detail on each of these groups. Then around 15% should be protein. And then you have 20% unsaturated fat, which is quite a lot because it's actually more than the protein itself. And then you have a 10% allowance for saturated fat. So the balanced diet is a total sum of nutrients and an energy supplied. It should be meeting all of our nutritional needs in correct proportions. And this is where I want to emphasize, is the correct proportional distribution, and this is what the key to optimize it. And then you should be incorporating in this way the proportion of starchy foods, and we're gonna go in detail on that, protein, fruit and veg, milk and dairy products. So let's have a quickly look at the food groups, the main food groups that I mentioned before. So what are the carbs? So obviously carbs, as you know, are pasta, bread, carbs in vegetables, and carbs are also sugars. And that can be found in fruit, a bit in veg, and also in dried fruits and so on. So the carbs are the major source of energy. And the carbs are usually broken down by the body in glucose. So there are three groups of carbohydrates, which is sugar, starch, and dietary fiber. Sugar is really the simplest form, and it's easy for our body to access, for the body to use. So if you're eating fruit, honey, there's some sugar in milk, juices, and obviously if you're eating sweets or anything that's sugared, when you get the simple sugar, that's really the easiest way for the body to use straight away. So if something energy needed today or needed in the next 5 minutes, to over-exaggerate it, you can then really, your body will use the sugar as a first source. Then we have starch, and starch is more the bonding of several sugar units, and it usually takes longer to break down and longer to digest, and that can be found in bread, rice, pasta, and potatoes. Now the difference between white bread, white rice, white pasta, and wholemeal, let's say the brown rice and then the wholemeal bread, is really that the wholemeal bread and the brown rice have the fiber in it, and fiber is usually it is only present in plants, and it can be, you have a digestive and non-digestive carb, and it supports your digestive health. So it really kind of fills you up when you have a fiber, when you eat products that have a high fiber content, and it will be non-digestible and it will come out at the other end, but it really helps you to clean the guts, the process, cleans the way, and it also takes longer for the body to digest, to break down, to extract that energy, and it keeps you also fuller for longer. Then we have the protein. The protein can be found in all kind of meat products, so meat, chicken, you got fish, you got eggs, but also plant-based protein, which is in pulses, lentils, beans, that you can find that. And the protein is really important for building the lean muscle, the maintenance and the repair, and is also part of the cell. So protein is really important in terms of really maintaining the muscle mass. If you don't consume enough protein, your muscle mass will decrease, and that's when the muscle when we go back to the physical exercises, is supporting your bones, supporting your body structure. So it's really important that protein is acquired. So also very interesting to know is that protein, the body does not hold excess stores of protein. So whatever you take in, and as I understand, the body can only usually digest once at a time 30 grams of protein. So whatever you take in every day, it will not be maintained, and it will be it will leave your body. So you always have to maintain and keep it up, and every day consume that. Protein can be also used as a source of energy when the calorie intake is low. So your body will always first go for sugar, and it will always go for fat reserves first before it uses the protein. However, if you have excess of protein that you consume, it can use that as an energy, or if you really don't have any more carbs within your body. And usually people who are on very, very strict diets or have issues with the food, that's when they really become so thin, and the body starts to break down their muscle because they don't put anything else into their body. And then also what's important to know with protein is that it includes 9 amino acids, actually 20 in total, but 9 amino acids are the ones that are essential. And why are they considered as essential? Is because they cannot be created by the body. That means the only way to get it into your diet is through the protein. Now the meat and the chicken and the fish, so the meat eaters, we are lucky on that side, let's say, because this meat can provide us with these 9 amino acids, where the vegetarians, which is the difficult part, you cannot have it. So what you need to do is you need to combine certain foods, and we need to look at that more in detail, but certain foods have to be combined and eaten together to create those 9 amino acids that you can still take them in for your diet. Then we have the group of fat, and fat is really important. So this is the most energy dense and found in both plant and animal sources. Fat, excess calories, irrespective of source, are stored as fat. So also, if you look at fat, not just fat that you consume, but fat that we have on the body. So whenever we have excessive calories that we take in, that will be converted into fat, that will be stored around the body, and that will be used as an additional energy source when you need it. And then also it is stating that it is an ideal source of energy during the exercise. It usually promotes endurance, and it's not rapidly depleting like carbs. So when you're exercising, you had a snack, or let's say a banana or something like that, and you continue exercising longer than 30 minutes, you go into an hour. Usually this is the period when you have consumed all the carbs, and then your body starts to switch to fat, and then start to use the fat as your energy source. And then you can separate between the saturated fat and the trans fat. So you have actually saturated fat, trans fat, and then non-saturated fat, which is the healthier fats with all the avocado and the different, well, actually not avocado actually has saturated fat, but for example in nuts you can find the good fats. So here we're talking about the not so good fats. They are potentially harmful. You do find them in animal sources, butter, cream, also in avocado and coconut oil, baked goods, and fast food. It's also a discussion about how bad those fats are in avocado and coconut oil. Some people say it is healthy to eat, and some people say it's not as good. So, and then yes, we have unsaturated fats, which are beneficial and are plant-based, and they should be part of your diet. These fats are used as well to combine the micronutrients, the vitamins, to transport them within your body. So if this fat is missing, or this component of your diet, then it will be more difficult for the body to consume and take on these nutritions. Right, so then we talk about alcohol quickly. Alcohol can also provide energy in the form of calories, yes. But alcohol is quite a complex, for the body to consume alcohol, it's more complicated. It is a complex process to utilize this energy, and alcohol has no nutritional value. Now, I'm not talking about 1 glass of wine per day. We're talking more about excessive alcohol consumption. It can inhibit the breakdown of many important nutrients, impairing absorption. So really what alcohol does, it is a bit of a, let's say, poison for the body if you consume it in a high amounts, and it really can inhibit the breakdown of this vitamins and micronutrients that you're taking from the food to feed into your body. So then we have a group of micronutrients. So listed all of those vitamins. It's all the vitamins and minerals. They are only required in very small amounts, but they're really crucial for the muscle and bone strength, performance, optimum energy levels, overall health and well-being. There are 7 major dietary micronutrients, so calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, sulfur, chlorine, and magnesium. And you also have all the trace elements, which is iron, cobalt, copper, zinc, manganese, molybdenum, iodium, bromium, selenium. Wow, complicated names. And then the last group is really the fluids. So what's important to know about the fluids is fluid in this case doesn't have any nutritional value or no calories, but the body uses the fluids for a lot of different things. And really important here is really to know that, you know, fluid transports your nutritions, supports muscle activity, removes all the waste, and that you as a person need at least 1.5 to 2 liters per day, and that's applicable for sedentary lifestyles, so people do not exercise excessively, but also for all active people. And then more you exercise, and you need to add additional obviously additional fluids to your body. What's also really interesting to know that thirst, so when you're feeling thirsty, it's actually not a reliable indicator of the body needing water. So that's why a lot of people sometimes say you need to have that measurement sitting on your desk, a cup or whatever, that you are continuously reminding yourself and drink. So do not drink just when you're thirsty, you have to need to continuously drinking. And then what a confusion is a lot about the drinks and the fluids is that, you know, some drinks do have a very high content of sugar, sodium, and are not really diluted enough. And sometimes if you drink juices that are not very diluted, they won't leave the body that quickly, and it will not really, so it will take much longer the body to digest, and really not going to meet the needs of the working muscle. So when you're exercising, really ideal drink should be water and not a juice, to be able to transport certain things to your muscle as they need. So this was the quick presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a bit longer than 10 minutes, but I think it's really important to understand those basics. And please have a look over the presentation again. I will post it also without my comments. Have a read and just have a think about it, what it means. And the homework for today is to look at your food diary that you should have started yesterday or the day before, and look if you are meeting all of those requirements and in all of these proportions, your daily needs. And then we can talk a little bit about it in detail tomorrow.